Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Void Tune, where we will be talking about the brand new season of Survivor 46. Let's go! Let us go! Yeah, we're back here once again talking about Survivor. That's good. That's a good day, if I say so myself. Let's go! And we're still getting the extra time on the episodes. We're getting two hour episodes back to back for the first 2 weeks, and let's see if we can keep the hot streak going from 45. So let's go. I'm excited. I like the cast. I'm excited for this new season. Things have been going slow so far, so having this come back in circulation, I'm pumped. I'm excited. Let's go. Yeah. Alright, we got some things to talk about before we go into the cast itself. First off, how do you like the new video setup? I mean, it's on your screen right now. I mean, let's face it, what I was doing before was boring. Like 100% boring. And I said when I was wrapping up 45 that it was clear that I needed to change some things in order to make things better moving forward. And I want to say this is where I would like to stop in that progression, but it does provide the necessary elevation that I was looking for, at least this first video back. Okay? Now, when I talk about the cast, I'm going to go through them in alphabetical order, and I'm going to talk about their game potential, and their star power. Now, if you haven't seen my videos before, star power is sort of like a first instinct gut reaction. It has little brain involved, but it just it's just feeling you get when you see a person or you read about them or you just listen to them talk, and you can tell, okay, there is something there. I'm invested. I think they're going to do great. That's what star power is. And we're going to go through every all all 18 castaways for this season, like that, and we're going to wrap up the video with my winner picks. Okay, that's how things are going to go. So let's get into it. Starting off with Ben. He is 31 and he's a musician. His starting tribe is the Green Sega tribe. From what I got from his interviews and all that, his personality is sort of like Seafoods from last season, 45. Now, do I think he'll play similarly as Seafood? I I think the possibility is there, but like Seafood was one of a kind. No one could destroy their own potential in the game quite like Seafood. So I think his personality, if he can keep while in that energy and try to bond with his tribe, I think that can bode well for him. I'm just questioning if he's got a full on plan for when he does have those relationships, because I think he can get them. Does he plan on being a leader? Does he plan on staying in the background? There are a lot of what ifs when it comes to Ben, and I'm trying to figure out if he's got a plan going in or if he's flying by the seat of his pants. And honestly, I think it's the latter. As far as star power goes, I gave Ben a 3 out of 5. For, well, all of those reasons I said before. I think he's got a great personality. I think he's in the sort of right headspace. But there's a lot of what ifs that can be said. And there are avenues where he's in a great spot, but there are also avenues where he can be in a bad position and not make it far into the game. So with all those what ifs, you hear that he said, she said, I gave Ben 3 stars, and I think he's either going to be a late pre-merge boot or an early merge boot. I think it's most likely going to be one of those two things. So I gave Ben 3 stars, and he's not going to be in my winner predictions. Now moving on, we have Bihanu. Bihanu is a 41-year-old IT quality analyst, and he is starting on the purple Yanu tribe. Bihanu's personality, I think, is very bold, energetic. Like, in his interviews, first thing he says is when he gets on the beach for the first time, he wants to just run over and give Jeff a big hug, which is very similar to multiple superfans that we've seen in the past few seasons. As far as game potential and having a plan going in, I think I don't think it's hard to describe, but I don't think he's going to be in charge of anything. I think the person that I most compare him to is Nasir from 41. I don't think he's going to be involved in the dynamics of the tribe. I think he's going to be a provider and a source of energetic comedy, but I just don't see him being a strategic leader and trying to go through the game that way. I think his play is to be friendly, lovable, and unassuming. As far as star power goes, I gave him 2 stars, and I think that's accurate. I think if Bianu can get himself well liked with the majority alliance, I think he can get to the merge. But if he finds himself on the outside, I can see him being an early boot. All that put together, that's why I have him with 2 stars, and I don't have him in my winner predictions. Now, moving on to our next person, we have Charlie. He is a 26-year-old law student, and he'll be starting on the green Sika tribe. Now, as far as his personality goes, he reminds me of like a Corey from Big Brother 25. Like, he's a young law student that is clearly a fan of this game, and Corey and Charlie, even though they're similar as in archetypes, I think their game approaches and way that they're going to come across to other people are going to be radically different. During Charlie's interview, he kept going on about his accomplishments and just stuff that he has been able to succeed at. And I think if he talks about those things and those are his only conversational points, that can rub some people the wrong way, and that could lead to them wanting to put him on the outs or not include him in certain conversations. Do I think he'll be an early boot? I think he can survive at least one round before he becomes the target, but I think eventually he will become a target of interest for the majority. He could find himself on the bottom, and he might be able to dig his way out, but I don't think he'll find himself going deep into the game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's how I'm thinking right now, and I'll put that together. For star power, I have him with 2 stars. That's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles. As far as everyone on the cast is concerned, I think I have Charlie at the very bottom. I think has the least potential to make a real impact on this season. Now, moving on, we have Hunter from the Orange Nami tribe. He is a 28-year-old high school science teacher, and I'm really excited about having Hunter on this season. Now, his personality, like from the moment he speaks, like I just feel warm and fuzzy inside. He has a real calming and warm, warm aura about him that just makes me want to trust him and believe him and want to work with him, which I think is very good in a game like Survivor. He didn't go into much about his game plan going into the season, but from the little we got, his plan is just make his trimates underestimate him. Not he doesn't want to talk about how he could have been a doctor but chose to be a science teacher. He wants people to just believe he's there for a good time, to have fun, make friends, all that, so that they let his guard down. And I think that's a very good strategy. And like, I think his best asset is just his ability to just make friends. And I think that would be easy for him. I think he can find himself easily finding himself in the middle of all things, having multiple number ones, and just being the assuming focal point in his tribe. And that's a very good strategy that we've seen work before, and I think it's definitely possible that he can do it. And for all that, for star power, that's why I gave him 5 stars, the best you can get. And I mean, just as I said, I think Hunter has the potential to be like a Jesse on the season from 43, where everyone wants him to be their number one, and he'll be able to corral his people that he wants to protect, and when he does try to make he will do it. And I think he has the real potential to not just make a big impact on the game and become a new era staple, but I think he has a real solid shot at winning the game if he can make it to the end. For all those reasons, I have Hunter in my winner picks and with 5 stars in total. Now, moving on, we have David Jelinski. He'll be going by Jelinski on the show. He is a 22-year-old slot machine salesman from Vegas. Imagine some roulette wheels sound effects spinning in the background. He is starting on the purple Yanu tribe, and like I think he describes it best in his interviews. Like when you first meet him and talk to him, you sort of like get a sort of like, okay, he's not a very intelligent guy. He's sort of like like the guy that you want to hang out and probably have a few beers with. But from what I saw he has a lot more intelligence underneath the surface, which I think will help push him forward in the game because they'll want to. Because they don't think he'll be an immediate threat. Plus, I think he can get in good with the majority on his original tribe, and as long as there isn't like a switch or anything, I think that will carry him to at least the merge portion of the game. Now, all that I just said is entirely theoretical. There is also an avenue that where he could be. I don't want to say an early boot because I think tribe physicality will come into effect on that certain tribe and they'll need him. But I don't see there's a possibility that no one will want to align with him and he can be a consistent target throughout the game. And like he's 22, he's the youngest person on the cast, so there's also a lack of inexperience when it comes to him because how much life experience do you have when you're only 22 when you're going up against a bunch of late 20s to early 30s to early 40s to late 40s, all of the above. So I think that certain lack of life experience will also come to play. Plus, I think he's just a massive wild card where one avenue he can be successful, the other it can go bad for him. So for star power, due to the multiple avenues and his wild card factor, I gave Jelinski 4 stars, and I think it suits him best. Like there's some investment here that I want to go on, but I'm not willing to risk it all to have him as a winner prediction. So that wraps everything up there. That is Jelinski for you. Okay, now moving on, we have Jam, a 32-year-old international brand mentor from the Green Sika tribe. One, one thing of note is that she is an immigrant from, I can't pronounce the name, but it's from South America. And I don't know, just think that's interesting. And I can tell that she's a fan of the show. She talked about in her interview how she applied with her husband or spouse and that they applied together. So they're both clearly big fans of the show, and I think going into the season, Jam has a set plan of what she wants to do. She wants to do A, B, and C. She's got these certain rules that honestly I think are pretty smart. And like, if I was going on Survivor, I would agree with most of those rules. But in the game of Survivor, you have to be flexible with your plan. You have to once one thing goes in one way, you have to adapt with it. And I'm not sure how adaptable Gem is willing to be in this game, but I think the plan that she set out to do already is a pretty decent one, and I think if she learns that she needs to adapt to certain situations within the game, then I think she can do really well in it. So, for star power, I gave Gem 5 stars, and I'm moving her up to my winner predictions. And for all the reasons I just said, I think she's got a set plan. I think it's a good plan. I think there's some tweaks to be had depending on how the game goes because no one season of Survivor is going to be the same as another, and that's why you have to adapt to when things change. But I think, other than that one flaw, I think Jem is going to be a great player. I don't see her being an early target unless she's not bonded with the majority. So I think Jem has potential to be a great player on the season of Survivor. Now, moving on, we have Jess. Now, she is a 37-year-old software engineer, and she will be starting on the Purple Yanu tribe. Now, during her interview, she talks about how, oh, it's okay to be emotional and cry and just be yourself on openly, and you can still go far into the game. And I do believe that she is right on. You don't have to limit yourself and just appear infallible. You can be emotional and do good in the game. Just if you do it too much, it can present you in a overly emotional light, and that can truly end your game. And I think Jess has the strategic chops to make sure it's not over the top, and I think she can find a way to get herself into the majority. I just think it's a tricky game that she's trying to play, and there's multiple avenues where I can see her being either an early boot or make it to the merge and go far into the merge, but different things have to happen for all of those things, for any of those things to happen. And right now, I don't see a path in any of those for her. For star power, I have her having 3 stars, and her game ability and personality, I think, elevate her in the star power rankings. But her game plan of playing an emotional game, I think it's good, but it's a slippery slope, and I don't want to get caught in the crossfire if it goes wrong. So for that, I have her having 3 stars and not moving up to my winner rankings. Next, we have Kenzie. Now, I'm excited to talk about Kenzie. She was featured a lot in the 45 outro sequence to promote this season, and I think she lives up to the hype. Why did I say height? Hype. I think her personality is very bubbly. It's warm, and it displays a level of supreme strategic intelligence down there. But I think her most powerful strengths, is going to come from her ability to make social relationships. That's what she does for a living. She is a salon owner, and you have to get along with multiple different types of people, their different personalities, and all that, and that translates perfectly to the game of Survivor. And I think she's going to do really well in her original starting tribe, the Yanu tribe, the Purple Yanu tribe. And she seems physically fit enough to where she won't be an early easy target in a group of 6. My wonder is how far will she make it into the merge. I don't think she'll be voted out before the merge. I think she's going to get to the merge. It's just a matter of, will her personality make her seem unassuming and not a threat and get to the end? Or will people peg her as someone if they have to get out, because if they do, she will win the game? That's what I'm wondering. But I think her raw natural abilities to make friends and all that will are enough to where I'm not too worried about that. For star power, this is easy. I have her at an easy 5. So I'm confident in Kenzie's abilities to really show out in this season of Survivor, and I have all the faith and confidence in her to make it far in the game. That's all I have for Kenzie. Now, next up, we have Liz, a 35 marketing strategist starting on the Orange Nami tribe. Now, her personality reminds me of like an Aubrey Nebraco, great player in the game Survivor, and I think she's got the right steps to play a good game. But one big red flag, like the biggest red flag ever, is when she says she wants to play a game like Sandra and Russell. I mean, the two rivals of heroes versus villains. Like, in my head, I'm trying to figure out okay, two good players, but how do those two games mesh together and are capable of success in the game or even a win? I pondered, and I came up with a solution. It can't. Like, those two games can't be either replicated or put together. Like, they're two completely opposite games, and I mean, Russell just played a very bad game in general. He made it so the jury didn't like him. I don't think Liz is prey to the self-sabotaging ways of Russell, or in a little bit way Sandra, but just going in there with that mindset of, okay, I'm going to try to do this sort of not capable gameplay just makes me question Liz's capabilities in the game. So for star power, I have her at 2 stars. And I mean, there's few ways to justify that. It's just, I think going in, she has the ability to make it far in the game, but I definitely see a self sabotaging route for her. So that's why I have her with 2 stars, and I'm not moving up to my rankings. No, 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 no. Okay, next we have Maria, who a 48-year-old parent coach. Now, she is being placed on the Green Sika tribe. She, my initial thoughts of Maria were okay. She's the oldest contestant in the game, but she's a real fan of the show, and like she's coming here to do work. She's tried before to get on the show. She failed, but now she's on the show, and I can see her really wanting to compete and try her hardest. And like, she's really fit. She's been keeping up with her body. She's still very strong and fit. So I don't think she'll be like an immediate target if her tribe somehow loses. And just based on her short interview, her personality and strategic abilities are pretty solid. Like, I'm positive that Maria can find herself in a majority, and that, I think she can keep the target off of her at least for the first few days. And I think something would have to go out of her control, like some sort of twist or idle play, for her to see herself go home early. And if she makes it to the merge, from there it's just a matter of strike management, which might be a problem for her. Like we saw Julie from last season, when she made it to the final seven, like she kept on getting a lot of heat on her, like needs to go target, target, target. And I'm not sure if that will be replicated here with for Maria, but I'm not taking it out of a possibility. As for star power, I gave Maria 4 out of 5 stars. I've been talking really positively about Maria, and I think she has potential to do really well. But there's still that risk with Maria's archetype, and I don't want to get caught in the crossfire if I'm wrong and she goes out early. It's just a matter of placing my bets safely. But I think if everything goes her way, I think Maria has the potential to do really well on this season, and I am rooting for her. Now, next we have Mariah, 28, a program coordinator, and she's starting on the Green Sika tribe. Now, she compares herself to some more of the famous nerdy archetypes in Survivor, like Conquerin and Aubrey. And I think on the surface, she's a lot like them, but I don't know, there's just something about Mariah that concerns me. Like, she's hard to read, so I'm trying to keep this short. But it's hard to describe, but I don't think she's has a real shot at going deep into the game. I don't think she's going to be an early target either, but I think just getting to the merge is going to be as good as she'll get. From there, I think it's going to be a struggle. I don't see much as far as star power either. I have her at 2 stars. I think her biggest obstacle is honestly going to be just connecting with her tribe mates and being in the majority. And if I were to say, oh, she's got it all in the bag, I think she's going to do really well, I would be lying, as I think as far as game ability goes, I think she's just now starting to learn how to do that. So, for Mariah, 2 stars, not moving up to a winner prediction. Let's move on. So, next is we got the one and only Quintavious Q. That's right. Did you know that this is the first ever time in Survivor history where a player's name starts with a Q? 46 seasons, 24 years, first ever. Something to be said there. Now, Quintavious Q is 29 years old and is a real estate agent. A very, 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 very good one at that. Coming in at number second in all of America at one point. Now, he is starting on the Purple Yanu tribe. And as far as personality goes, in his interview, like, I sense really positive things from him. I think he's a very naturally competitive guy and wants to prove something. And I think he wants to prove something to both himself and to others so that he has what it takes. Now, I'm very pro Q. I think he's a someone that people are underestimating, and they're going to see the error of that soon. the concerns other people have for like, oh, he wants to be the leader, he wants to control his tribe, he wants to dominate. All those things, like, I definitely see those things sort of backfiring on him, but I think that he has the ability to course correct and get the target off his back when those things happen. Now, this is going to be a sort of wild guess and wild card pick, but for star power, I'm giving Q 5 stars. Now, I think his natural strategy of going in and just trying to control everything and be the guy everyone relies on and the leader and all that, I think that it is not a very good strategy, but I think once he gets into the game and sees how complex it is, I think he'll see the error of that and dial it down a little bit and try to bond more with his tribe. And when that happens, I can see him going farther into the game. And I think if he gets to final tribal council, he can put on a performance that, hey, I did all this, I did this, and really be able to sell his case. And for all those reasons, I am moving him on as a winner pick. Q. Can you believe it? It's a wild pick, but I'm going with it. Now, next up, we have Randon. He is 41 years old and an aerospace technician, and he's going to be on the Orange Nami tribe. Now, first thing that I want to say is, like, opening scene in his interview, like he said, his own daughter thinks he's going to be the first one voted out, and already planning a "you did good, Daddy" sort of party. Like, I personally thought it was very funny. Like, funny. A lot of other people are taking it a lot more seriously than me, honestly, but I just think it's something really funny. But I don't think he's going to be the first one out. I don't think he's going to be an early target unless he like royally messes up in a challenge or he's just instantly put on the outs of his tribe. But based on his own whole personality, I think he's a really lovable guy. Very down to earth, relaxed, and I think when it comes to the strategic side of the game, I think he's going to know how to navigate that whole area rather well. I think he'll be in the majority alliance, and here's where I differ on Randon. I think if the majority alliance decides to target it starts to implode and target itself, I think Randon might be one of the first ones to become a target from that. But I think he'll find himself going to the merge, and from there, it's a matter of guesses and whether or not he can succeed. But I honestly have more faith in Randon than himself or others others do. For all that, for star power, I'm giving Randon 4 stars, and I don't know, just I think he's a good guy. I think he'll be able to navigate the political game of Survivor, and I don't know. I think instead of a "you did good, Daddy," you weren't. You're the first, even though you're the first boo party. I think we should be giving Randon a "hey, you made it to the final episode of Survivor 46 party, yippee!" Now, moving on, we have soda. Now, at first, I think my initial thoughts on Soda were, okay, she's here for the experience, and she's not going to be a very active player. Like she's more focused on the rewards, the getting to know people. She's not going to be invested in trying to play the game and try to backstab and lie and and manipulate. But I think my initial thoughts were mistaken because I think that her ability to just bond with people is more strong than I initially gave credit for. She's got an ability to just make you your friend, and I don't know, like, I've seen some comparisons to 3. I think that's a bit over the top, but I don't know, I can see that comparison a little. Um, and it goes really well with her profession, which is that she's a special ed teacher, 27, and she's going to be starting on the Orange Nami tribe, which finally talking about those people, I guess. And for star power, I'm still iffy on whether is there for to play a hardcore game. So I gave her 3 stars. And I don't know, it's not because I think she's going to be an early boot, although she could be, or that she's going to be targeted. Could be, but I don't think so. It's just massive unknowns about Soda's game and abilities that just drive me to not to put her high up. I think she's there more for the experience, but I think she'll have an ability to at least survive. She's not going to be a winner pick, and that's all I got to say about that. Now, moving on, we have Tevin. Now, Tevin is a 24-year-old actor, and his starting tribe is going to be the Orange Nami tribe. Wow, we went through a lot of this and not even talking about the Nami tribe, and now we've got three of their members in a row. Wow. Now, Tevin, 100% going to be presented as this big, over the top character. Like, I think that's why they cast Tevin. I think that's what they're going to focus on. I mean, that's why in the end of 45's outro and trailer for 46 this season, they featured Tevin the most, and they even handed Tevin his buff, and he went, "Ah, I buff, a buff." Yeah, like Tevin's 100% going to be a character on this season. Now, as far as game ability goes, like I think he's going to have no problems just trying to form relationships and bond with his tribe. Like that's not going to be any issue. Like, how can you not love Tevin? Now, the social game is going to come easy to him, but I don't have 100% lock on his ability as a strategic player, especially compared to other members not just on his tribe but throughout the cast. I think Tevin can navigate and make moves later on, but early on, I think he might struggle, and that's where I think he'll be in the most danger. But as far as making it far into the game, no problems. Like, he's going to make the merge. Easy. For all those reasons, I gave Tevin 4 out of 5 stars. Like, because I think he's going to be a massive character, no doubt about that. But I don't know much about his strategic game. Like, he hasn't shared most of that with us yet. So, like, I'm confident that he's going to make it far into the game, but I don't know what he's going to do to get there, other than just being a very likable and social guy. So even though I'm confident in Tevin and could potentially make him a winner pick, I'm not going to do that because I'm missing a vital part of his game. Alright, now moving on, we have Tiffany. Now, Tiffany is a 33-year-old artist, and she's going to be starting off on the Purple Yanu tribe. Now, what I got from her personality is she's bold, she's brave, and one other B word, I don't know. I think Tiffany has the ability to get good reads off of people, and she's going to be able to navigate her way through the game, at least in the beginning. I think the early stages of the game is where Tiffany's going to do her best work. She's going to build her alliances, she's going to build relationships, and I think things would have to go tipsy topsy turvy in order for Tiffany to go home early. If she makes it to the merge, that's where I'm wondering if she'll be able to make it further. Because if she does, I think she'll be able to establish a resume for herself and be able to present a case to win the game. With all that said, for star power, I gave her 4 stars. I like her personality. I think she's going to be a rootable figure throughout the season. The only reason I gave her 4 stars instead of 5 was because I think there's a certain element that we didn't see in her interview that we're going to see in the season itself, and I don't know what it is. It scares me a little bit, so I'm just erring on the side of caution. But at the end of the day, that was Tiffany, and I'm not moving her up as a winner pick. Next, we have Tim. Tim is 31 years old, and he's a college coach. Oh, there's a lot of people who teach in this season. Huh. And he's going to be starting off on the Green Sika tribe. Now, his personality is a fun one. On one hand, he's calm, relaxed, but on the other hand, he's funny and goofy. And I think he's trying to be that, but I think it just comes naturally to him. And I think when you get to know him a lot, and get to know him, he's a really good guy that you just want to be around. So, as far as being able to have social relationships, I think that's going to be easy for him. The real question is, can he get himself in the majority, or can he find his strategic footing in the game? Those are questions I do have, but based on how this whole Sega tribe is set up, I think Tim was put in a very good position off the back, and I don't see Tim going anywhere early on. So I think if he gets to the merge, that's when the true game for him begins. Will he have built a foundation strong enough to carry him further into the game? Because he's one of the bigger guys in the season, probably one of the more athletic ones. He has a background in athletics as well. So that's my question for him as a long-term player. But short-term wise, I think he's set up to have been put in a great position, and and I think he could potentially even form the majority alliance around him. We'll see about that. For the star power ratings, I gave Tim 5 out of 5 stars, the highest honor, and I think For this, it's just a matter of gut feeling, gut reaction. Like, I think Tim has the potential to do great in this game. I can feel it, I can sense it. It might not be there 100% yet, but I think Tim, if he's not a early bloomer, I think he'll be a late bloomer and take the game by its horns and uh, pull out a fast one at the very end. I have faith in with Tim. I think he's got what it takes. So I gave him 5 stars, and I'm moving him up in my winner picks. Now, moving on, our very last contestant is Queen Venus Vafa. That is right. Saving the best for last. 24-year-old data analyst Venus Vafa, starting off on the Orange Nami tribe. Now, I gotta say this off the bat. I don't think I've ever seen such preseason hype as Venus has gotten. I honestly think right after 45 we've ended and people saw slight glimpses of the cast, I think people latched onto Venus and held on tight. I think Venus is definitely going to be like the queen of this season, and I think at least if she makes a merge, then she'll go down as a great player in the new era of Survivor. She just can't be voted out pre-merge. That's all that she can't do. And based on her game ability that she clearly demonstrated in this interview, I don't see that happening. Like, she's her 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 personality is sort of similar to like Parvati's, and I think Parvati's one of the best players to ever play. He's like that's and I can definitely see Venus replicating that. So I have faith in that. Her plan herself is to sort of maintain and cultivate relationships with everyone, and she's sort of like going to be in the majority, and she's going to like, as she put it, she's going to like not fight for the wheel. She's going to let someone else do it, but she's going to call shotgun, and she's going to be like, do this, do that, give me the immunity idol. I love it. Like, that's the strategy that you want to have going into Survivor. You want to play the game hard, but you don't want to be the one in front taking all the heat. You want to be the one beside that person, being the real brains of the operation. And that's what Venus wants to do. I love it. And she's very self-aware for someone of her age. 24 is still young. So, like, that's another great check in the plus column. So, all that put together, I got the perfect rating. 5 stars. Easy. And that's the easiest rating I ever made. 5-star Venus. There, I coined it. So, I think Venus has the best chances of heading to the game, maintaining great relationships, playing the game hard, and playing to win. If she can get over like certain stereotypes that have befallen other women in the new era, I think she's golden. Like, someone send me to Vegas with Jelinski and let me place my bets, shall we? And that's it. That is every single castaway from this season, Survivor 46. So, let's head into our winner rankings, shall we? Alright, we're here at our winner rankings. Now, for each season, I always do one male and one female. And we'll see if I can replicate what I did in 43, where I predicted Gabler and Cassidy. That's the ultimate goal at the end of the day. Probably never repeatable, but I'm an optimist. Now, I think our female pick is is more clear than our male pick. For our females, I have Gem, Kenzie, and Venus, but I ultimately decided to go with Venus. And why wouldn't I? I described it a few minutes ago. She's perfect. She's coming in with a strategy, a very good one. She's very self aware, and I can see her playing a near perfect game. I think the only obstacle that she'll face is the. I want to be careful with this wording. The. I'm going to say it as bluntly as I can. Women in the past few seasons of the new era have been voted off early, not because of their ability in the game, but because of tribe strengths and all that crap. When you're in a 6-person tribe, it's easy to just point to a skinny woman and just say their liability in the challenges. Like, that's my only concern and fear and hope that stereotype has been kicked in the crotch for all the women that were voted off in 43 and 44. If that happens, though, I think Venus has a great chance of breaking that. And she's clear here to be a ruthless player, and I love that. Now, for our male pick, I have Hunter, Q, and Tim. Now, the logical side of my brain is telling me to pick one player, but the chaotic, fun-loving survivor playing person voice in my head is telling me pick the wild card pick. Pick the person that no one else would and go with it. We've done it before, now do it. And I'm going to listen to that voice. I am picking Q. Even though I said multiple negative things about him and how he's coming in with a bad game plan, I think he has the ability to pivot and change his game when he needs to, and when that time comes, I think that's when we have to watch out for Q, because if he gets to the end, he's going to put on a performance of a lifetime at Final Tribal Council and take that win. Let's go. All right, that's our male and our female winner picks, Venus and Q. Now, as I said before, I have alternate winners: Hunter, Jem, Kenzie, and Tim. I think if any of those players have the possibility of winning, it's just a matter of, I think these players have the best chance going into the preseason. Things can change. We won't know anything truly until the season starts. This is just how I think right now. And there are several avenues that can be taken in the game, and I'm very curious to see how all those will go. Can't wait. All right, let's wrap this up. Wrapping this up. First of all, positive message for 46. I'm so glad that we're getting another Survivor season. The cast looks great. We don't know anything about the format, but it's probably going to be similar to 45 in a way. Can't wait. Let's go. Now, I want to talk. I want to talk real quick about what's going to be happening in the future for us. The challenge battle for a new champion is still going on. The first episode of the final is going to be happening tonight. And when that season wraps up, the final at least, I am going to be starting to make my season review of the challenge Battle for a New Champion. And it's either going to come during the 2-part reunion segment, or I'm going to wait till after that's done. Haven't decided yet. Ultimately, I'm going to do what's best for myself as regards for that. Alright, next up is, well, you've seen it throughout the video. How do you like my improvements to my videos? I think they definitely liven things up. I'm not planning on stopping here at these improvements. Tell me, what do you think I can do to make these videos better? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't be shy to speak your minds. Just be nice and just don't comment about anything negative. Like don't be an ass. Like don't. I had comments like that before, and I've just blocked them. Like why? Why? Other than that, stay safe, stay positive, stay on the lookout for 46, and I'll see you all next time. This is Void Tune.